Let us wait for 3-4 minutes, then we will start with the presentation.
Sure.
A very good morning, everybody. Thank you firstly for registering for this session. I would like to introduce Shashank. Shashank is actually one of our former students in Masters in ESG batch 4, and it is such a great pleasure to have him give the sessions and conduct the sessions now. We are all looking forward to learn from him on EcoVadis, which is one of the leading tools for ESG and how they rate. And especially, we know that a lot of investors give an impetus on EcoVadis ratings and how your company is performing on it. So we are very excited to learn from Shashank, and this session will be also recorded, Shashank, and everyone. But do feel free to ask if you have questions for him. Over to you, Shashank.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the introduction, Harsha. Uh, I hope you guys are able to see my screen.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just start. Yeah. So good morning once again, everybody. My name is Shashank. As Harsha said, I am ex-student of IICSR. I'm currently working with Incorp Advisory as a lead rating analyst. I've handled assignments of BRSR, BRSR Core, materiality assessments, LCAs, anti-bribery, anti-corruption risk assessments. When it comes to rating, I've handled CDP, EcoVadis, and DJSI, and much more. So we will wait for, I think, 1 or 2 more minutes. I'm getting one request to start within 2 minutes. So we will start the session exactly at 10:05. So we are just waiting for few people to join. That is. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions while we are discussing, you can put it out in the chat box, or you can connect with me at a later point in time, and you can ask me on LinkedIn, or I'll share you my email ID, whatever is feasible for you guys. Yeah. And it's good to have sessions like these on weekends, from Harsha.
I too miss out our sessions usually in the weekend in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. After
Okay,
6 months of doing that, everyone misses it.
correct. We were used to that sessions earlier, every Saturday, Sundays. Yeah. Uh, so, I- so I think we can start. So, what is EcoVadis? EcoVadis is a global rating agency. EcoVadis is a global rating agency based on SaaS platform. SaaS means software as a service. They use a software tool to rate your company's ESG maturity. So it's not a framework. It is, well, can you give me one? It's not a framework. and it is also not a standard. It is a rating agencies which give you a score based on your ESG performance. Uh, e- Businesses generally have many critical areas regarding ESG. So what EcoVadis does is it collects information, it collects evidences, and it rates based on those evidences uh, regarding the maturity, ESG maturity of your company. Around, I think, more than closely 1 lakh companies are currently registered on EcoVadis. I feel EcoVadis is the biggest rating platform that's available, and the scores of EcoVadis are not public. We will get back to how the scores are disseminated in the later point of our session. Uh, Give me a second. The screen is uh, hanged. Yes. So when I said EcoVadis is not a framework and it is not a standard, so what are standards and what are framework? Standards are principles which tells you how the reporting should be. For example, GRI, IASB, IFRAG, and all those things. And frameworks tells you what the reporting should have. For example, CDP, BRSR is a framework, PRI, all these are frameworks which exactly tells you what you have to disclose in a particular report. And standards give you the principles or the basis or the basic reasoning what has to go in that particular report. And then comes the rating or ranking agencies which depend on these framework and standards to give out a particular score. And you can see many rating agencies which we have listed down here. EcoVadis is also one of them. EcoVadis is a platform which relies basically on the international framework, including the GRI. It's a culmination of many frameworks and many standards. They use all these tools to assimilate the ESG maturity of a company. I think it covers the sustainability regulations of close to 160 countries. So EcoVadis is the most comprehensive rating framework that is out there. It is just not about filling a form or a questionnaire that the EcoVadis gives you. It is also about attaching documents as an evidence to prove that whatever you're doing is in reality uh, a thing. So then there are ESG performance indicators. What is ESG performance indicators is these indicators measures the level of ESG preparedness a company has. These are the most assessments, ratings, and certification are the most used ESG indicators. When it comes to assessment, uh, it is materiality assessment, ESG due diligence, ESG risk assessments. When it comes to rating, it is EcoVadis, CDP, S&P Global. When it comes to certification, that is ISO 14001, which is the EMS, Environmental Management System, 9001, 45001, which is the OSAS. So all these are the indicators. You can say it is like a barometer or a thermometer for a company, which gives the level of ESG preparedness that the company has. So if the level of preparedness is low, it gives you an indication that what needs to be done to improve. If the level of preparedness is medium, it helps you to sustain the same. So all these are use case scenarios. Nothing of these are actually mandated by any laws. For example, a financial institution might be interested in doing a ESG due diligence, whereas a, a supplier might be interested in doing a ESG ratings, and whereas a company might be interested in getting a certification done. So all these are use case scenarios. There is no particular legal mandate that is, levied on the companies. Now, what is the benefits of getting registered on EcoVadis platform is one is the global reach and scalability. Since EcoVadis is the biggest agency that is out there, so registering on EcoVadis will give you a preview of what the world is doing, and it will help you to reach to that level. And the second thing is actionable insights. EcoVadis is not just a platform which rates you, but it also gives you some suggestions or improvement areas, you can say, based on your, submissions. So which are actually verified and given by an expert. So it's a very useful tool to help your business channel in a more sustainable manner. And then risk management. What EcoVadis does is helps you identify the areas where there might be concerns for your organizations. Uh, for example, if it is a drinking water company, the stress is more on water, but they might ignore the concept of waste. So that is where EcoVadis pinpoints and highlights uh, few things which may be missed out by the management or the company from an inside perspective. Basically, it provides an outside perspective of what are the important things for a company. It gives you the list of risks, opportunities, and then it gives you a treadway or pathway to improve those risks and opportunities. Then carbon management. This is a new thing which is been added to the uh, EcoVadis tool. I think it was introduced probably in the last year itself. It's an inbuilt tool by EcoVadis which helps you to calculate scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. You don't have to, have sophisticated uh, tools, or you don't have to hire consultants from outside to do your carbon emission management. Uh, EcoVadis is introduced from this year in the portal itself. And then enhanced transparency. EcoVadis is the most trusted partner for ESG rating. So the verification of your documents and all of those things will enhance the transparency, and the ESG score has a lot of weightage in the outside world. And then reputation and compliance. So as I said, EcoVadis helps you to build a reputation. A good score in EcoVadis might land up in getting a good business for you. I think nowadays the EcoVadis, if you see, the EcoVadis requirements are growing such a huge level that earlier when we started basically the ESG practice, the focus was more on reporting, assessments, ISOs, and everything. But now I think the ratings thing has kicked in, and it has going to a great extent. Even in India, if you can see, I think there are presently 17 registered ERPs, ESG ESG rating provider agencies which are registered with SEBI. So I think the rating game is going to be the next big thing in ESG. And I think we should all be prepared for it. And EcoVadis is one of the very sophisticated tool for which you can start disclosing. Now let's come to the basics of how, what, when, and all those things. The first thing is the signing up. You first have to. There are two ways for you to sign up for EcoVadis. One is the disclosure, and one is the responding. Disclosure you will do when you are voluntarily registering for EcoVadis without anybody's mandate. Responding you do when your value chain has requested you to register on the EcoVadis portal. Now we have to keep in mind more than 90 to 95% of the registrations that is happening on EcoVadis is from the responding channel only, because very few companies are choosing to do it voluntarily on a voluntarily basis, because it's not a, as I said, it's not a legal mandate. So people take it seriously only when a law is compelling you to do it. Why I said 90% or more of the people are going through the responding route is because even though it is not a legal mandate, I think it has become a commercial mandate, and economics, as we all know, play a very big role, in all these factors in deciding and in decision making also. So that is why many companies have started to respond. I think we were actually working on a company for a which was a value chain of Maruti Suzuki. And Maruti Suzuki had strictly said it was a private company based out of southern India. And Maruti Suzuki had strictly said you had to have a EcoVadis score, and minimum score you have to have a silver in order to supply the bids. Forget onboarding as a supplier. The first thing was to is to submit a EcoVadis score, that to minimum silver, to them before even they can apply for a bid. Post that activity, they would be onboarded as a supplier. So if that particular company did not have an EcoVadis score, they would have lost the opportunity to be a supplier to one of the very big automotives of India. So this is the level at which the ratings and the seriousness is growing with regards to ratings. Earlier, it was just used as a marketing tool, just to showcase the level of preparedness by various companies. But now I think it has become a kind of compulsion, because nobody would have the time to run through pages of documents of your sustainability report, your GRI reports. So if there is a particular score that can help them determine your ESG preparedness, I think that is where the world is moving, where nobody has time and energy to waste on so much of pages. Now, when it comes to registration on EcoVadis, few things are required for you to get registered on EcoVadis. First thing is registration is absolutely free, but submission you would have to pay cost. I will tell you what is registration and what is submission at the later part of my presentation. So for registration, you would have to provide your details of the company, such as your company name, the legal identification number if you have, and the number of employees, the revenue, if you have a website, a link for the website. So based on which the EcoVadis will go back to their drawing rooms, will do a basic due diligence on your company, and they themselves will identify the class or sectors to which your company belongs, and they will prepare a list of questionnaires that might be relevant to your organizations. Now, one thing that we have to keep in mind is, unlike many other rating agencies, which has a uniform set of questions or questionnaire that is applicable to all the sectors, EcoVadis, what differentiates EcoVadis from them is EcoVadis has a tailor-made questionnaire for each of the industries that the company operates in. For example, if the company is operating in a manufacturing sector, uh, might be energy, water, waste might be of the higher priority, and you would find more questions and more weightages to those kind of questions. Whereas a company operating as a service, like a consulting firm, might have more things uh, like electricity, uh, labor, management, contractual workers, so those kind. So you will never find all the industries having the same kind of questionnaires. The weightages and the questions differ from each of the industries. So once you get your registration done on the portal, it would take around 2 to 3 days for it to reflect. And after that, post that, you can start filling the questionnaire. Generally, you would be given adequate, sufficient time of 2 to 3 months by EcoVadis to complete your questionnaire. It can be extended twice by 60 days. If you're not able to complete the EcoVadis questionnaire within the said 60 days, you can request the EcoVadis to extension for it. If you don't go for extension, the questionnaire will be blocked and you would not have the opportunity to again work on it. Now, the questionnaire is a very sophisticated piece of paper that I can say. It has many contents from various pillars such as environment, ethics, sustainable procurement, labor, and human rights. It is very vast. It is just not a questionnaire. It also includes, uh, which also provides spaces for you to provide explanation. For example, some of the question would not be such materially applicable to you. You can mention in the questionnaire. So EcoVadis is flexible that way. It is not very rigid. But whatever uh, information that you're keying in the questionnaire, you would have to support it with a reliable evidence. You have to understand the reliable plays a very important role in the whole thing. It is not just evidence, because evidence can be created by anybody. It is reliable evidence, and I will in the line go while we are going through the presentation, I will tell you what exactly reliable evidence is. Then after you submit the questionnaire, there is a group of experts that they work that EcoVadis has, who review your questionnaire, who review your evidences, and they come up with a score. And then your results are published. Your result, you have the option of making your results public also. You have the option of uh, publishing your results to a private person like a supplier, or you can keep your results as a private. So first year we always take it as an assessment year, where the company is preparing itself, the company is getting to know what is required for EcoVadis point of view. From the second year we generally start the improvement process. Of course, I'm
Hi,
just telling.
Shashank. I have a question over here, and I would encourage
Haha,
everyone else also who has questions can ask. Now,
correct.
do they do any audits, eco audit? Like, of course, there are people who review your documents, but do they go down and check?
Yeah, yeah. To answer this, Harsha, no, the EcoVadis does not go down and check all your, they do not do an on-site audit of the places. They just rely on your documents which are submitted. But they encourage you to go for an online or an offline audit from a third party and submit a audit report. But from EcoVadis point of view, nobody comes down really to your place and check what is there and what is not there.
When
Okay, thank
somebody
you.
wants to review the report that has been prepared
Hmm.
finally, so do
Hmm.
they access EcoVadis publicly viewable portal, or how does it work?
Oh, no, no, there is no EcoVadis publicly viewable portal that you can see submissions of other companies. So for each of the questions that is given, EcoVadis has already provided adequate explanation of what has to be entered in. You cannot,
Right.
there is no mechanism available right currently to check the submissions of other companies of EcoVadis, which was earlier available with CDP and all those things. But EcoVadis has never allowed that.
Okay.
Yeah, because if they allow it, I think it would be very easy to replicate it also, is what I feel. So that is why
So
there.
if any company has to check the
Mm.
report for any XYZ company, how does that? Do we
You
privately share them?
yeah, you can privately share them, or if it's a value chain to your company, then you can formally ask them to submit scores. Otherwise, you cannot directly see the scores of the other companies.
Okay. So it'll be basically like a PDF document with all the information in,
Correct.
and we share that.
Correct. They will give you a scorecard actually. It's like a report card which has everything in it. You can share it to your whoever you want.
Okay. And
Yeah.
you also mentioned that, the first year is basically,
Assess
the year
assessment.
where we
Mm.
get to know the details, and second year onwards, it is an improvement process.
Correct.
So
Correct.
basically, uh, if the company is a startup and they don't have many clients and they have just, started the company,
Mm.
and there is not even a break even, they are
Mm.
still even struggling to run. If the
Mm.
company is in such a state,
Mm.
will that still help by following this?
Yeah, it certainly helps. That's why I told the first year is the assessment year, and the company will get to know what is required, what is not required only when you attempt the first year. Until
Hmm.
then, you would not even really know what is required from the EcoVadis perspective. So, of course, attempting the EcoVadis question will really help that way, that the company will realize what it has to do. All the analysis of that sorts will be given by EcoVadis themselves, after submitting the questionnaire. So that really helps those kind of companies as well, which do not have access to materials. As I said in the last slide, EcoVadis has also introduced something called as a carbon calculator. Carbon emission calculation is one of the expensive tasks for an organization. A big organization can manage it, but as you said, a small startup who do not have such resources available with them for disposal can use tools given by EcoVadis, to submit it to a great extent.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I'll go to
Now,
the next slide.
yeah, I have a
Yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah,
Which
sure.
framework, which framework do you use for the calculation? Because there are so many, like there are ISO framework, there is a GRI framework. So which framework do you use in your inbuilt software to calculate the GHG emissions
You're asking
or
about
the
the
standards?
tool which I said, the carbon calculation, right?
Correct.
Correct, correct. So EcoVadis uses GHG protocol IPCC for the calculation of carbon emissions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the other frameworks that you actually use while providing the scores? Like, there are so many frameworks already.
Correct, correct. So, as I said in the first slide, EcoVadis does not use a particular framework. It
All
is
right.
used as a culmination of GRI, TCFD, and also ISO 26000. It includes the best practices of all the frameworks and standards in its questionnaire. It is not relying on a particular standard or a framework.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I have a question that is if anybody is for gold and platinum rating, then EcoVadis is doing on-site audit.
No, 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 no. Even for the platinum rating, there is no on-site audit.
But is there any advantages if somebody is looking for on-site audit? Then there is any advantage?
Yeah, yeah, sure. For all the, irrespective of the ratings, for all the, categories of medals and badges, EcoVadis has asked whether one of the questions from the questionnaire is, has your entity conducted any on-site audits? So if you have an on-site audit done from a third party and you upload the report on the EcoVadis portal, that will have a very good weightage for your scores.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
but that on-site audit must be of the non-financial reporting standards, which is SSA 3000 or 5000 or ISO 14064. So those kinds.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, can you mention about just like non-financial report type? So can you please explain what does it mean?
So you will have balance sheet and P&L, which is called
Yeah,
the
financial.
financial reporting. So
Okay.
our GRI, BRSR, and all sustainability reports is called non-financial reporting. So if a third party is auditing your non-financial reporting published by your company and giving you a report based on that, then that is called as the audit report.
So EcoVadis is doing the same fashion. Okay, fine.
EcoVadis is not doing it, is and it is asking people to do that and submit a report to it.
Okay. Okay.
Nobody from EcoVadis is coming to your place. That is what I meant to say.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Yeah. So
One question, please.
yeah, please, please.
Yeah. So expert is analyzing the our assessment, our questionnaire. Okay,
Hmm.
how they are giving the rating? Suppose there is a question of hundreds, so they
Hmm.
are giving the marks for one questions, or how they are assessing the results.
Correct, correct. So that's what I said, sir. So for each of the industries, there are separate weightages given by EcoVadis, which is not public, which is not known to us. For example, I told you a manufacturing sector would have more emphasis on E element of ESG, and a service sector would have more emphasis on S and G sector. Just an example. So they have different weights for different questions for each industries, based on which they evaluate your scores. And the questionnaire is both qualitative and quantitative. In some of the places it asks data, and some of the places it asks attachments. So based on all these, the experts analyze the your questionnaire. I will come to the methodology in the later part of my presentation. I have put a slide for that as well. So I'll be explaining you in detail how the experts will analyze the scores on EcoVadis.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more questions, or we can move forward? So I think there is no questions. We'll move forward then. So EcoVadis generally has a score of 0 to 100, 0 being the least and 100 being the highest. Based on your scores, the company will give you medals and badges. So the EcoVadis medals is for the top 1%, which is 99 plus percentile will get the platinum badge. from 95 to 99 percentile, you will get a gold badge. And if you are between 85 and 95, you will get a silver badge. And if you're between 65 and 85, you will get a bronze badge. And this is all percentile basis. I'm not telling score. If you get 65 score, I'm not telling you'll get a bronze. I'm telling if you get a 65 percentile, you will be in the bronze. It's on percentile basis. After you get your scores, you will be reduced to percentile, and from that percentile you will be awarded medals. And then comes badges. If you have a minimum score of 45, you will get a badge saying that committed badge saying your organization is EcoVadis committed. And then comes the fast mover badge. If your score lies between 34 and 44, and you have a minimum 6 point improvement from the previous assessment cycle, then you would be awarded a fast mover badge. So this is all about medals and badges. So the underlining thing about medals and badges is basically marketing. It can help you, like how you have the great place to work surveys that are there in your organization. These medals and badges help you, to showcase your ESG sustainability preparedness, I can say, to the outside world. And
Hi,
then there are
Manoj
risk.
here. Just a
Yeah, yeah,
question
sure, sure.
about medals. So, what is
Huh.
the validity of this once the medal is received from the EcoVadis? What is the validity of this medal?
So Mandar, the validity of the medals is 1 year from the date of publishing of your results. So for example, if your results are getting published in June 2025, your medals will be valid till June 2026. Post that, you have to go for an assessment again.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
yeah. So all the companies can get registered on EcoVadis. However, there are some restricted industries which cannot get registered on, which can get registered on EcoVadis, but they will not be eligible for scores or medals. The industries being manufacturing of tobacco, weapons and ammunition, coal or lignite mining, companies with substantial revenue, that is more than 20% of their revenue is getting generated from coal or coal based power generation, unconventional oil and gas exploration and production. So all the companies that are falling in this category will not be eligible for their medals or badge irrespective of their scores. The reason being, EcoVadis considers these as red industries, and they do not want to promote these kind of industries on their letterheads, which is why they will not be given any EcoVadis medals or badges.
Hi, Mandar here. One question about
Yes,
the
yes,
categories mentioned.
correct.
So, other categories can understand, but weapons and ammunition manufacturing is a part of government, DRDO's promoted industries. So for
Correct.
this also, this is it is not it means it is in red category and not expected to do.
Correct. For in India, sir, it is with only with the government sector. But if you go out of India, even private organizations are manufacturing weapons and ammunitions. So they don't want to encourage wars basically. So that is why even the weapons and ammunition category they've put under restricted industries. They give you a score, but they don't give you badges or medals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, you have mentioned this manufacturing of tobacco products.
Hmm.
Now, I think ITC is in the multi-product where
Correct.
their core business is tobacco also. So,
Correct.
how ITC can get participate in EcoVadis?
So in that case, ITC will get registrations separately for each of their business units. So for their tobacco units, they would not have any scores. For the other units, they can get a score.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. So when it comes to methodology, EcoVadis relies basically on three pillars, which is the policies, actions, and results. So what policies for them to judge on your submissions and give them a score. So what policies includes is policies like ABAC policies, anti-bribery, anti-corruption risk policies, fraud policies, human rights policies, child labor policies, air emission policies, waters, and emissions. When it comes to actions, the EcoVadis will see what kind of actions are you taking. For example, is there an SBTI commitment? So what is SBTI commitment is, are you setting a target for scope 1, scope 2, and scope 3 emissions? And are you uh, publishing those targets publicly? Are those targets validated? So are you conducting a anti-bribery, anti-corruption risk assessment? Is there an information security risk assessment? Is there a human rights risk assessment? Are you conducting any annual health checkup? If so, is there a report, health checkup report that is being conducted by your company? Are you conducting trainings on various issues of ethics, human rights, health and safety, etc.? And documents like training documents like the presentation which was used to give the training, the attendance sheets, the topics used, who gave the training, all such of documents would be required, for us to justify the actions taken by the company. And then comes the results. Results is how is the company publishing the sustainability initiatives. Are you disclosing through GRI? Are you following any UN SDG standards? Are you doing a CDP disclosure? Is there an annual report which captures information on sustainability? Are you preparing a sustainability report based on IR framework, integrated reporting framework, or any other framework? And if so, are you capturing ESG and sustainability parameters? So all of these documents and processes, EcoVadis will see before giving you a score. So when it comes to weight, we were talking earlier. Generally, EcoVadis will give 25% of the weightage to its policies, 40% of the weightage to its actions, and 35% of the weightage to its results. So again, in the policies also, you can see I've mentioned in the slide what is if the policy is insufficient, it will be given 0. So again, what is insufficient is completely determined by EcoVadis themselves. We don't have a guideline to say what is insufficient, what is partial, what is good, what is advanced, what is outstanding. But I think this is a gathered experience. Since many of us are experienced professionals in this field, we know what a policy would have, and many of our consultants have got an outstanding score in policies, actions, and results because of the experience. There is no particular guidelines which state this document is outstanding, this document is advanced, this document is insufficient. So it is purely based on the experience of the professional handling the EcoVadis assignment, for you to get a good score. See, this is the scoring examples. A company would have and EcoVadis rates you along the four pillars of the four pillars given by EcoVadis, which is environment, labor, ethics, and sustainable procurement. There will be different scores given for each of the pillars, and then you will have a final overall score depending on the weightage. For example, you can see environment for this particular company, which I have taken as an example, has a weightage of 28%. Labor and human rights have a weightage of 36%, and ethics has a weightage of 18%, and sustainable procurement has a weight of 18%, which is why your overall score is 52. And one more thing to remember is, if a company scores less than 40 in any of the four pillars, you will not be eligible to get a badge or a medal. So the thing is, you have to score at least 40 in one of the four pillars, and then you have to score at least minimum 50 or 55 to get a particular badge or a medal. So this is how EcoVadis works. All these analyses are given by EcoVadis themselves after you submit the questionnaire. If you log into your after you create a profile, and after you submit the questionnaire, and after EcoVadis has given you the scorecard, all these analysis will be given by themselves. So it is we don't have to break our heads on all these things. So what are the criterias, basic criterias that EcoVadis rates you on? When it comes to environment, it will be energy consumption, water, biodiversity, uh, waste, then product end of use, customer health and safety, environmental services and advocacy. And then when it comes to labor and human rights, it will be employee health and safety, working conditions, social dialogue, career management, child labor, forced labor, diversity, discrimination, sexual harassment. And when it comes to ethics, it is corruption, anti-competition practices, responsible information management. Then when it comes to sustainable procurement, supplier environment practices, supplier code of conduct, and all these things. So again, in each of the environment, if you say again, it will check those three categories itself, which is the policies, actions, and the results. So in environmental pillar, you will be checked for policies, actions, and results. And in labor, you will be checked policies, actions, results. And for ethics also, the same goes for sustainable procurement also. That is how EcoVadis works. Now, submission. As soon as you submit all the questions given by EcoVadis to you, you will get a tick mark, which you can see in the left side, in the left picture. You will get a tick mark in green, which means to say you have completed your answers. And if you have a warning symbol which has been given, which constitute incomplete answers, it also gives out the number of questions that you have answered, the number of questions that you have not answered. This is very critical because the length of the questionnaire is very huge, and this will easily help you determine what questions you have answered and what questions you have not. And this is how it shows the progress. So once you start the questionnaire, it is not a compulsion that you have to finish it at one go itself. There is sufficient time for you to continuously log in, and it auto saves. Whatever you enter will be saved automatically. Whatever documents that you upload will be saved. So you need not have to worry on the continuity aspect. You can take your time and start filling the questionnaire. Then there is something called as 360-degree watch, which is very crucial, and I think is one of the important feature of EcoVadis, which I think very few other rating companies worldwide has, which is the 360-degree findings. So what is 360-degree findings is once you submit your questionnaire, your an expert team from EcoVadis will do a due diligence basically of your company from various fields, such as whether your company has been penalized by any public agencies, whether there is a adverse impact of the share value on the stock exchange due to some activity that you would have submitted, if it in case of a listed company, or if there any news or some media involvement uh, regarding your company, some negative sentiment that has come out. So all these things, the EcoVadis will do a basic due diligence from thousands of factors which they have tools, and they will also consider these findings for your score. For example, if you have a severe uh, a 360-degree finding. For example, one of our companies which we were doing was not eligible for it. They had scored around 80 and they had got a silver badge. But even though they're getting a silver badge, they didn't get a badge because they had a severe finding in their factory, which is a death had happened in their factory due to health and safety issues. So in that case, that had come out in the media public. So EcoVadis had captured that information and they did not give that company any badge because there was a severe finding. So even this 360-degree watch plays a vital role in your company's screening activity. Then comes the scorecard. As you can,
Finding 60%, you have mentioned below 360-degree, that is a finding 60%. That 60% weightage is there?
that depends for each of the sectors. Again, this is one of the sector which I have given. So for each of the industry, the weightages will be different.
So this weightage is about the 360-degree watch weightage,
Correct,
right?
correct.
Okay.
After signing up any company while answering questions, if they are stuck, if they need any assistance, will there be any consultants who can help them from
Correct.
EcoVadis?
Yes. We at Incorp Advisory are doing that consultancy itself. So if you're
Okay.
stuck at any time, you can reach out to me and I'll be more than glad to help you out.
All right.
So this is the scorecard. So after you submit the questionnaire and after an expert analysis has been conducted and after the 360-degree watch has been done, the scorecard will be produced in such a manner. You can see the name of the company will be there and the scores will be given and the badges will be given. and publication date will be given. The overall score and scores for each of the pillars will be given. What stands out EcoVadis from other rating agencies, it also gives you improvement areas. It tells you where exactly you're lacking and what exactly is the weightage for each of those parameters. So in the first year of reporting, you would not get to know the weightages of the report. But after you submit that is why I told you the first year of questionnaire is always an assessment year. From your second submission years, you will get a clear roadmap of the improvement areas along with its weightages. Like for example, if you don't have a policy on environment, it will say you don't have a policy on environment. It's a priority, high priority aspect, so that you will have enough time in the next cycle to work on those shortcomings and submit the EcoVadis to get a good score. So now let us fastly wrap it up. We don't have much time left. Now comes techniques to improve the EcoVadis score. So these are the basic techniques that we follow, due diligence or clean check, we can say, to improve the EcoVadis score. It should be relevant to your company's the documents that you provide should be relevant to your company's scope, and it should be up to date. You cannot submit documents that are 10 years old, 15 years old. It should be credible. It should be generated, and it is best accepted if it is given by a third party, which is if there is a third party audit, if you can submit a third party report, if there is an ISO, if there is a certification given by any other external agency on your company. Those companies will, those documents would be treated as authenticated, because anybody can start producing document by themselves. And EcoVadis, from whatever I have seen till now, straight away rejects those documents which feels that it has been generated for the purposes of EcoVadis submission. And then basic requirements is the document should belong to your company. It should have your company name, logo, best if it is on the letterhead of your company. If it is some document which requires a board resolution or a signature of a manager or something, uh, better if we have those things in place for EcoVadis to accept it. Then validity, you can, if you upload a policy, it would be valid for 8 years, post which you would have to again renew that policy and then upload it. If you are uploading any document which relating to action, that would be valid for 8 years, meaning you would not have to upload the same document again next year. It will be sufficient for your 8 assessment cycles. Then if any document covering KPIs like number of hours worked, number of employees, number of CO2 emissions, scope 1 emissions, scope 2 emissions, water consumed, water discharge, all those KPIs, quantitative KPIs, will be valid for 2 years, post which you have to do another reporting cycle and then submit the documents. And when it comes to certificates, when I said ISO, the certificates will have an expiry date or written on themselves that will be considered for the as a deadline. And, and then examples of documents, if you can say, if you see policy, there are environmental policy, waste management policy, health safety policy. If when it comes to actions, it is ISOs, eco labels, operating procedures, internal materials. All these internal materials and internal documents should be put on the letterhead of the company. It should be dated. It should be signed by the concerned authority, and then only it will be validated by EcoVadis. Then reporting, if you see publicly disclosed KPI reports, monitoring of GHG reports, and then your BRSR reports, your GRI reports, all these can be added as an attachment to the reporting. And then there are many broader purpose documents, which is the CDP reports, the SBTi commitment letter, annual report with an integrated sustainability section. All these are broader report, but the sanctity of the documents should remain the same, which we discussed earlier, which is it should have credibility, it should have clarity, it should belong to the company, and so forth. So when it comes to technical requirements, you cannot upload any photos uh, or any Word document just like that on the EcoVadis as an evidence. It should be on a PDF. It should be and the file should not exceed 30 MB. Each file should not exceed 30 MB, and it should not be password protected. It should be free from all the encryptions. And you can use many languages such as English, Spanish, French, German, Chinese. All these languages submissions are supported by EcoVadis. And you have to make sure while you are uploading those documents, you have to link each of those documents to the parameters that you have entered in the questionnaire. For example, if the question is there a water policy, you will say yes, and you would have to upload the particular evidence in that section only. Then only you will be assessed. Otherwise, you will not get a good score. Then documents which are considered as invalid. So if a document does not have your company's name or logo, if the document is issued by a third party without mentioning your company name, if there is an I have seen many audit reports without even the name of the company to which it is addressed to being uploaded. So all those documents would be rejected. If the document is incomplete, unreadable documents, photos, corrupted documents, encrypted documents issued by a supplier or a client, which is not your document issued by your sister concern, which may be your subsidiary company, your associate company, but not belongs to your company, will also be rejected. Document. So these are the basic documents, that will be considered as invalid. I'll not go through any of these things in detail. I'll send you the presentation since we don't have much time left. Document, yeah, these are all the documents that are you know treated will be invalid. So while preparing documentations and while preparing the questionnaires, we have to be very sure of these things. So these we call it a clean check. So uh, after submission, we have to go through the review should happen again and again, so that we are not doing all these mistakes for us to land up at a better score. So, as I said, for registration of EcoVadis, there is no monetary requirement. But for submission of your questionnaire, there is a monetary requirement. So, EcoVadis runs in 3 plans: the basic plan, the premium plan, and the select plan. So, what happens in basic plan is you will only be given scores. You will not be given medals and badges. What happens in premium package basically is you will be given badges and medals along with the scores. And what happens in select is there will also assign one person from EcoVadis who will help you. One specific point of contact from EcoVadis will be assigned to your company, who will be available to help you, while filling the questionnaire. So these are the 3 basic plans of EcoVadis. I will not get much into this because it is something commercial aspect from EcoVadis, and uh, yeah.
Uh, yeah, firstly, I feel very proud that Shashank is giving the session. Really good to see that. Over to you all, Shashank. If someone wants to connect with you, please share your details. Yeah.
Yes. So, thank you so much. So if you have any further questions, you can of course reach out to me. I've put to my phone number and email ID. You can also connect me on LinkedIn. We can have a detailed discussion on any of the parameters that you have any doubt. We can surely connect. Thank you so much for this opportunity, everybody. Thank you so much, Harsha, for this. Looking forward to more sessions like this, engaging sessions.
Thank you. And thank you. There are about 30 people for your session. So congratulations and
Thank
really
you.
good to have you here.
Thank you so much, Harsha. Thank you.
Thank you, Shashank and Harsha.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.